meet you at the BET Awards. He looks so in shock right now. Like, that sounds like, well, how do you feel about where you are? But I got to meet you at the BET Awards this past summer.
I mean, leave him alone, let him do what he do.
Oh, do you ever sing to them?
I do. We sing all the time. I had started a gospel choir, elementary gospel choir, and
Jim Roberts had already conquered one of the biggest stages in America. Winning American Idol is the kind of achievement that most artists spend their entire lives chasing. For many, that victory would quiet the nerves forever. After all, once you've performed in front of millions and claimed the crown, what could possibly intimidate you again? But on October 9, 2025, as Roberts stepped onto the set of the Jennifer Hudson show, it became clear that success does not erase anticipation. If anything, it amplifies it. This was not just another television appearance. It was not a routine stop on the promotional circuit. It was a defining moment, one of those rare talk show segments that linger long after the cameras stop rolling. The energy in the studio that day carried something electric. Roberts wasn't just arriving as a recent winner of American Idol, he was entering as a symbol of possibility, carrying the weight of public expectation and the curiosity of a nation eager to see what came next. From the moment he walked through the Spirit Tunnel, the crowd's energy surged. The applause wasn't polite, it was thunderous. It rolled across the studio like a wave, lifting him forward. There was excitement, admiration, and a sense that something meaningful was about to unfold. The audience understood they weren't just watching a champion, they were witnessing the beginning of a new chapter. Roberts came prepared, but not in the polished, rehearsed way many new stars do. He understood that Jennifer Hudson's show thrives on authenticity. Hudson herself, a powerhouse vocalist who knows firsthand what it means to rise from competition stages to international acclaim, has built her platform on emotional honesty. Guests who thrive there are not those who perform perfection, but those who reveal truth. And Roberts delivered exactly that. When he began his rendition of Nothing Compares, the shift in the room was immediate. Conversations ceased. Applause faded into attentive silence. His voice did not merely hit the notes, it carried them with weight and lived experience. There was strength, yes, but also vulnerability. Each lyric felt intentional, as though he was not just singing to entertain, but to communicate. His control was remarkable. The tone steady. The emotion genuine. The final high notes didn't feel forced or theatrical, they felt earned. Across from him, Jennifer Hudson's reaction told its own story. Cameras caught her expression, that unmistakable look when a seasoned artist recognizes something extraordinary. It wasn't surprise alone. It was respect. You could almost see the moment she recalibrated her expectations. Social media quickly filled with clips of her reaction, her widened eyes, her hand resting near her heart, her subtle lean forward. It was the expression of someone witnessing more than talent. She was witnessing depth. Once the applause erupted at the end of the performance, it was not simply loud, it was sustained. The audience rose to their feet. There are standing ovations that feel customary, and then there are those that feel unavoidable. This was the latter. But the power of the segment did not end with the music. When Hudson began the interview portion, she asked the expected question, "What has life been like since winning American Idol?" The answer could have been predictable. A rehearsed response about gratitude, busy schedules, and upcoming projects. Instead, Roberts surprised everyone. He spoke openly, not as a celebrity, but as a man navigating change. He talked about returning home to Mississippi after the finale. About stepping back into his role as a father of 3 daughters. About the surreal contrast between national fame and everyday responsibilities. One moment he was on the most watched stage in America, the next, he was helping with homework and school pickups. And he didn't frame that contrast as a burden. He framed it as balance. "I'm still the same man who walked into the gym with the kids before dawn," he shared, referring to his former work as a physical education coach. "Winning didn't change who I am. It just gave more people the chance to hear my story." That line resonated. Because in an industry where transformation often means reinvention, Roberts chose consistency. He wasn't trying to become someone new. He wasn't distancing himself from his roots. He was embracing them. And that authenticity became the heartbeat of the segment. Unlike many appearances that feel tightly scripted, this conversation unfolded organically. There were pauses. There were unscripted laughs. There were moments where Roberts seemed to reflect mid-sentence, choosing honesty over polish. That vulnerability is what made viewers lean in. He spoke about the challenges before American Idol, balancing coaching, parenting, and chasing a dream that felt distant. He admitted to moments of doubt, to nights of exhaustion, to the quiet fear that maybe the opportunity would never come. And then it did. But even in victory, he emphasized that the trophy was not the true prize. The win meant more than a title, he explained. It meant showing my girls that dreams are real, that hard work matters. It wasn't about fame. It was about legacy. Hudson listened closely, occasionally nodding, occasionally interjecting with questions that dug deeper rather than moving on. Their chemistry was undeniable. She wasn't overshadowing him with her own success, she was elevating his story. That synergy between host and guest transformed the segment from an interview into an exchange. And by the time the first half of the show wrapped, it was clear, this was not just Jim Roberts' first major talk show appearance. It was a moment that marked his arrival, not just as a winner, but as an artist with substance. After the performance and initial discussion, the conversation shifted into something even more personal. Jennifer Hudson, drawing from her own journey in the spotlight, asked the question many were silently wondering: how do you stay grounded when everything around you suddenly changes? Roberts paused before answering. That pause mattered. It wasn't hesitation, it was thoughtfulness. He spoke about structure, about routine, about waking up early even when he didn't have to, about still being present for his daughters' daily lives. Fame, he explained, does not replace responsibility. I don't want them to see a trophy, he said. I want them to see commitment. The audience responded not with loud applause this time, but with quiet admiration. You could feel the collective respect in the room. There is something powerful about a new star who refuses to abandon his foundation. In an era where many public figures arrive polished, cautious, and media-trained, Roberts presented himself with candor. He didn't dodge difficult topics. He acknowledged the pressure, the sudden attention, the adjustment period. He admitted that some days still feel surreal. But he also made one thing clear: he is not intimidated by the spotlight. Instead, he seems energized by it. And that distinction is important. Some artists shrink under expectation. Others inflate. Roberts appears to expand, not in ego, but in purpose. The victory amplified his voice, but it did not distort his identity. Jennifer Hudson recognized that. At one point, after another thoughtful response, she leaned back slightly and said with visible amazement, "That just blows my mind." It wasn't a scripted compliment. It was genuine. The clip of that moment, her reaction, the audience's applause, Roberts' humble smile, quickly circulated online. Viewers replayed it not because of drama, but because of sincerity. There is a particular timestamp in the recording that many fans now reference. It's the second after Roberts finishes the final note of his performance. The crowd erupts. Hudson stands, clapping, visibly moved. There's a brief pause where the noise swells and then settles, and in that pause, something intangible lingers. That is the kind of television moment that cannot be manufactured. It is unscripted magic. The segment also highlighted something significant about Hudson as a host. While she is undeniably a star in her own right, she has mastered the art of stepping back to let others shine. Her questions are not designed to redirect attention, they are designed to open doors. During Roberts' appearance, she became the voice of the audience, leaning forward, eyes wide, genuinely curious. That mutual respect between them created balance. The unpredictability of live television is part of its charm, and this segment reminded viewers why they continue to tune in. Not for perfection. Not for rehearsed sound bites. But for moments that feel alive. Roberts did more than perform. He connected. He demonstrated that winning American Idol was not the conclusion of his story, it was the introduction. The beginning of a new phase where his voice reaches further, but his roots remain intact. Industry insiders have already begun speculating about what comes next. More talk show invitations are inevitable. Concert tours are likely. Collaborations may follow. The bar has been set high by this appearance, and expectations will only grow. Yet if this interview proved anything, it is that Roberts is not defined by expectation. He is defined by intention, and perhaps that is why the segment resonated so deeply. Because at its core, it wasn't about celebrity. It was about identity. It was about a father, a coach, a man from Mississippi stepping into global recognition without losing himself in the process. By the end of the show, it felt less like viewers had watched an interview and more like they had witnessed the unveiling of character. Jennifer Hudson did more than host that day. She facilitated a moment. She created space for authenticity to breathe. And in doing so, she helped shape what will likely be remembered as one of the standout segments of her show's season. Months from now, when people look back at Jim Roberts' rise, they may reference this appearance as a turning point. They will say, "Remember his first time on Jennifer Hudson's show? Remember that reaction? Remember that pause?" Because in the world of entertainment, certain moments earn an invisible asterisk, a mark that signals importance when history is written. This was one of them. Jim Roberts walked onto that stage as a winner. He walked off as something more enduring, an artist with depth, a public figure with humility, and a storyteller whose journey is only beginning. And that is why this appearance will not simply be remembered as an interview. It will be remembered as a moment.